quick question. Can you guys hear me? Because OBS is saying that it is disconnecting every 3 seconds. I have never seen this happen on OBS before. I don't really know what's going on with it. Okay, great, great. Absolutely owned. Absolutely owned. Hi. Oh, sick, thank you. I was really nervous about today. No Twitch today, we're doing just YouTube. I wanted to give it a shot. I have some YouTube viewers, so I thought I'd give them a little day. I also thought that it'd just be nice to like figure out how it works. I think it's important to learn as much as you can about streaming as a streamer. And this felt like one of those things I needed to know how to do. I gotta bring up vBridger and then I can, cause like I usually sit on this starting soon screen while the ads play and like there's no ads because I'm not monetized. So like, I don't know. I'm also curious if like the Twitch stuff would still work even if I'm not connected to Twitch. Maybe not. That's what I was just saying, is that like I wonder if like if you went to my Twitch page and then you hit like you were like let's head Pat May, like would that work? Oh my gosh, hold on. You can see my tits. Let me fix that. Because I had this up. Ad-free experience. I don't have a chat. I don't think Squonk Chat connects to YouTube. Oh, fudge. That's the thing I forgot to do. That was add a chat. Let me see if I can. You guys cannot be seen. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, whether or not it would still work. Let's see. So if I go to streaming tools overlays, there's gotta be like somebody just head at me. What's the weird online we briefly saw? That was me scheduling it. I'm not really sure why the bot thought that was me being online. I have to go check out the Dino bot and see if you guys just don't exist. I guess we could take chat off for right now. Squonk Chat goes, and then no chat background, and so we could just do May is really large. I would like to stop being a figment of imagination. No. Sorry, you're not real. Okay, if I go to Squonk Chat, can I add my YouTube chat in? Probably not. These are just style settings. The purple shape that was on screen briefly? Oh, the weird outline. Oh, outline. You didn't say online. That's tits. That's showing the box that it uses to track. But like, I don't know why I pulled it up since I don't have anything set up on YouTube like that. Also, I need to turn on the big light because my other light can't see me. And for some reason, it doesn't seem to be tracking very well. It's technical issues on technical issues today, okay? Okay, vBridger seems to be working pretty well. There's just... I don't know. The mouth tracking isn't working very well for me. I don't know. Oh, it works. We can throw stuff at her. Oh, I already modded Phoenix, yeah.
We are a fragment of imagination.
What? Are you guys are in my Twitch chat redeeming things right now? I can't even see that. I can't even see that. Hold on. I gotta go to my it doesn't let me pull. I'm gonna have to go to my Twitch and go to my like stream manager to see what you guys are redeeming. Wow. You guys are crazy. Oh, I'm also streaming mostly on YouTube today. Because I just went bald. Thank you so glad you guys can still be menaces on YouTube. No, there's something wrong with VTube Studio. Do you see that? Like, it stuttered. What's going on? Am I using the wrong model? No, I'm using the correct model. Let me restart VTube Studio. Something is wrong with it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Is Twitch just always running as soon as you stream? What do you mean by running? The thing is, it's okay. So the reason that it still worked is because, basically, I have streamer bot open all the time. That's much better. And streamer bot is actually what runs those. So was that the no, I don't think so. I think that was something else. It's just like, if you guys can see, sometimes the mouth isn't tracking the way that I think that it should, and I'm not really sure why. Yeah. It's due to how plugins interact with Twitch website API. Well, there we go. Gwen got the answer for us. Also, because we need YouTube watch hours so that I could get monetized on YouTube. That would be like really sick if I could. That would be so sick. It'd also be nice to know like how many people are actually watching me, since Twitch doesn't like to tell me that. Just saying. Just saying. Also, hi. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Sunday. I don't like having that light on. But anyway, I don't know how to add YouTube chat to OBS. How do I do this? No. Okay, I won't add chat to the screen. You guys don't get... I see you guys in my Twitch chat right now. You've been awake for 45 minutes. I woke up and I slept 10 hours last night. 10 hours. I think 10 hours. I'm gonna sit down and hope that the issue is actually just my lack of ring light, and we'll see. Gwen, don't post a scatter emote. I can see that. Anyway, I don't know. YouTube feels more chaotic than chaotic's not the right word. YouTube feels like a secret little place. Like a secret little place that I can stream. You know? Ugh. I'm gonna close that. We redeem by thinking really hard and imagining it on YouTube. Yeah. It's true. Technically, I don't know. You could probably... Has anyone tried to redeem a watering? No, it's during a stream. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like a silly little club. I feel funny being here instead. Listen, what happens on YouTube stays on YouTube. I mean, it stays here forever, yeah. But like, I mean in the sense of like, we could have a silly little stream and then anybody who shows up on Twitch later will just be like, that's our secret little club, you know? Seems like you really like Dwarf Fortress, you know? At least it seemed that way to me. Okay, hopefully I fixed some of the issues I was having with the mouth. Seems like no. I'm gonna scream. It's very important to me that the tracking looks good, but for some reason it seems to think that I'm not opening my mouth all the way. Do you see that? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't focus on this, but I'm very focused on this. The Twitchers will not. Don't call them that. That sounds weird. Okay, we're gonna change mouth open to 1.2. No, that makes it worse. What if we do it as 1.8? Yeah. No. Dude, I don't know. I've never had this issue before. It's like it's not catching on very fast. I don't know. It is. The ADHD's going hard today. I woke up, I made lunch, and then I was like, I'm gonna finish watching some of Downton Abbey. Ah, this is killing me, dude. What is wrong with this? Maybe it's V-Bridger? No, because like V-Bridger looks fine. It looks okay. Comparatively, it's tracking my face correctly, but I don't know. It's killing me. It's killing me. It's killing me. Like, you guys probably don't even know what I see. It makes sense YouTube streamers are YouTubers and Twitch streamers are Twitchers. I don't know. Sounds weird. What if I change that to 0? Not -0, just 0, you dummy. Wow. The latest movie? What latest movie? The Downton Abbey movie? Or what? I don't know. I'm not really like a perfectionist or anything, but it really pisses me off when like things just don't work and I can't figure out why. I'm just gonna restart my tracking software. Yeah. Oh. That was weird. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, it's not tracking my mouth correctly. God. It's gonna kill me. Well, I'm only on season 2, so no spoilers. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, though. Sorry, I'm getting pissed off about this. I'm getting, like, real mad. I don't know. See, like, I was talking and my mouth was fucking closed! Listen. This is a marvel of modern technology, but at the same time, sometimes it fucks up and it makes me mad. I think it is vBridger. It seems to be an issue with my iPhone maybe. But I don't know how to correct it. It's all fun and games until Abby goes downtown. I don't quite get that one, Ty. Sorry. I think it's because I'm in a poor mood. Largely because my OBS is telling me that we're still disconnecting and reconnecting. Just a lot of technical issues. Y'all know I can't handle technical issues very well. Plus we got like way less people here than normal. But I guess that's because I'm not on Twitch. And a lot of people I think find me on Twitch. Largely because my... If you stream on April Fool's Day, you should make it so that your mouth tracks your eyes and vice versa, so that whenever you talk, you just blink like a maniac. You can do that, I think. But I don't know. Maybe streaming on YouTube was a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Ugh! Maybe being a VTuber was a mistake. And never talk about it, never bring attention to it. Yeah. That would be funny. That's so funny. That's so strange. Why does it do that? We could set that up. We could definitely do that. Let's see. So I slept like 9 or 10 hours last night. Woke up, was like, I want to watch some Downton Abbey and finish some chores. So I made this like harvest bowl. Appreciate that. I don't know. Like I said, one of my friends found some success doing this stuff, and sometimes you just gotta try out new things. I think that if you don't try out new stuff, you're asking to be left behind. And not just that, you're asking to be passed over in many ways. You have to... Sometimes you have to get people's attention to show them who you are. You know? I'm not really looking to do things that aren't fun for me. But I do want to I want to get myself out there, you know? Yeah, technology is a wonderfully annoying thing. Okay, so I've been looking through vtuber's videos, and I was not sure. It doesn't, I don't know, I couldn't find like I couldn't find like a video that was just like, here's all the Elden Ring lore, or all the Dark Souls lore. It seems like Vidya does more like overview stuff of like, or like smaller stuff, I guess, not overview stuff. A great way to get noticed in streaming is to sacrifice a random lurker every hour to appease the machine spirit. I could do that. Which one of you wants to go first? Do all of you want to go? Do you all want to be sacrificed to the machine spirit? Please say you don't. I like you. I guess I'm a little lost on where to start with the Dark Souls lore. I should probably figure that out. Who was it yesterday was giving me advice on it? Was it Ash? You put a link in Discord? Okay. Thank you so much. Ah! Was looking for exactly that. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh. Don't play immediately, please. Why is the first chapter, why did they call him Big Hat Logan? Okay. You will gladly be sacrificed to the machine spirit? Ah. I think he does on Elden Ring, but I wanted to learn about all of Dark Souls, not just Elden Ring. Because like the reason I want to learn about all this to get to like the actual meat and potatoes of it all is because the art of Elden Ring is really inspiring, I guess. Maybe inspiring is a weird word. It has a way of evoking a very intense feeling in me, and I'm quite fascinated by all of the stuff surrounding it, I guess. So, yeah. Oh my god, OBS, will you get your shit together, please? Okay. Do I have anything else to talk about? Well, I did go to bed at 11 last night. I didn't stay up until 2 a.m. I was very proud of myself. I was not watching thirst traps. So. Why am I getting recommended a German 985 video from 14 years ago? That's crazy. Okay, so Dark Souls, like the Dark Souls 1 intro cinematic. Okay. The Dark Souls remastered, the full prologue. I've got a lot of options here. Let me take us over to gamer time. Oh, it's just the scatter emote. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, let's get on into it. I am glad to be here. I'm sorry that I got a little chuffed, if I'm using that British word correctly, about my stuff, but Germa is the furtive pygmy confirmed. Is that a Dark Souls thing? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. The scattered. It's so true. I think you guys on YouTube are on more of a delay than Twitch is, which is really interesting. All right. Let's get this up and running. Technology is a joy and a pain, so true. All right. Is everyone ready for Dark Souls? I just completely froze. Oh. Chuffed is one of those annoying words that it's on opposite. It can mean pleased or it can mean annoyed. It's slightly more commonly used for pleased. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you guys really are. You guys are like on a big delay. Oh. For fellow YouTube viewers, refresh the page and very quickly hit play when it comes up to get closer to actual live. A 30-second delay. I don't think I'm going to mess up that big. I mean, I say like currently 21 seconds. Well, no wonder. It's probably because my OBS is disconnecting and reconnecting constantly. I wonder if it's trying to connect to Twitch. It shouldn't be. But maybe it is. Hmm. Strange. I'll have to investigate that. Anyway, let's watch some Dark Souls, yeah? Thank you guys for coming on this little experiment with me. Best I can get is 16. That's not the worst. I don't know what Twitch is, to be honest. I don't know what their delay is, but Let's see how much the refresh helped. I do notice a bigger delay here when I have both open normally. Okay, I'll just have to keep that in mind and remember that you guys are reacting a little bit later. Um, so I'll like give you guys to say some time to say stuff. As long as I know about it, I think we'll be okay. Just bear with me on that. Because one day YouTube might be my home. Who knows? Oh, do you think we should watch the all opening cinematics, or should we watch them like we should watch? I guess we should just watch the first one. So let's see what this one is.
Age of ancients. The world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire. And with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark, they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead.
Okay.
The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight.
Hold on. You're going so fast. I'm taking notes, okay? I'm taking notes. Daughters of Chaos. And then we got Gwyn. Because if I know anything about lore, it's always gonna get complicated. Lord of Sunlight. So it's good to have things written down, in my opinion.
For nights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten.
Furtive pygmy.
With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons.
Okay.
Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. The witches
Holy shit.
wielded great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease.
You look so cool, dude.
And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more.
The scales. Okay.
Thus began the Age of Fire.
Okay, Age of Fire.
But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain.
The flames will fade.
Even
All right.
now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights.
Okay, endless dark, question mark,
And
question mark.
amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark sign.
Dark sign, got it. Is that the dark sign? I'm guessing that's the dark sign. Scary circle, fire. That's it? Lady. Lady, I needed a little bit more than that. Can I not? Could I not? I wanted a little bit more than that. Okay. So, to recap what I have understood from this Thank you so much for the head pats, whomstever did that. We've got 5 dudes. Okay, I'm gonna call them dudes even though I know they're not all dudes. We've got 5 dudes. There's the Age of Fire when the dragons were there. But then the 5 dudes killed the dragons, and now the fires will fade. Now, I don't quite understand what the fire's doing here. It's just a flavor to tempt you in and excite you. I mean, I'm excited. If the game wasn't so freaking hard, I'd play it. You know? So then we go to Dark Souls lore explained. Dude is a gender and species neutral term. So true. I call dogs dude all the time. Age of Fire is after the dragons. Oh, okay. That's after the dragons. Okay. And now we're approaching Endless Dark. So, and free food will come. Oh, just say Five Guys. Oh, okay. I can't eat any of their stuff. Gothic 1 and 2? What is that? Like, are those games? I want you guys to see my search history. Oh, it's on sale. See if they have any dragons in the... They don't have any dragons in the screenshot, sadly. Look at this game, though. Look at that guy. What a guy. Alright, so... Now we're gonna... This is just... Is this all of them? Oh, we're gonna get What is the Age of Fire explained.
You have questions. Why am I on fire? What's the point of locking myself in this cave? Which ending is the right one? And, of course, the age-old question, why do they call him Big Hat Logan? First, let's start with the player character. Who is the chosen undead? Well, they are who you make them. Whether you were a thief, or a knight, from Astora or Katarina, it doesn't matter.
Oh.
What's important is that you ended up in a cell at the right place and the right time. For you head to Lordran, in accordance with an old legend that speaks of a mission for a chosen undead hero. This legend is, by the way, most likely a deception by the gods, probably designed to lure powerful heroes to Lordran, but we'll get to that later. Is there a world?
Oh, that's how it's spelled. Okay. Lordran. Okay, so he's talking about the game that we just watched the intro to. This is the original Dark Souls. Okay. And we're the chosen undead. I'm gonna write prophecy. Prophecy. Okay.
Outside Lordran. Lordran is just the land of the gods, and there is a wider world of man with many more countries therein. The fate of the world largely revolves around Lordran though, so we never go to these other places. But the characters we do meet in Lordran often hail from these foreign countries, and you can tell that they've been designed to be accurate characterizations of their homelands. What you're seeing on screen are the results of an art competition to depict these foreign places. So check out that video if you're interested, and subscribe to see the next competition really soon. How did this world come to be? Originally, the world had no disparity. Everything was just...
Wait, so I always thought that... I'm going to tell you what I've thought of. The Lord of the Dragons is Gothic. In Gothic is Innos, the god of light and creation, created the dragons to protect the world and humanity. Oh. No, that's a bit of a different tale for dragons. Normally, they're like the enemy of human beings. But this is what I thought. I thought that in Dark Souls, you were entering like, I don't know, a weird version of the world. Not like the world proper. Like you weren't in the world normally, if that makes any sense at all. I don't know. Like that you were going into some kind of like upside down.
rock, from the land to the trees to the dragons. It was homogeneous, static, without beginning or end. Then, similar to the Big Bang, fire suddenly came to exist, and it disrupted this eternal monotony. Now, there wasn't just existence, but there were states of existence. Heat and cold, light and dark, life and death. The result was a rock universe gradually changing into the world as you see it in-game, including its overabundance of souls. What is a soul? So when fire came to be and permeated...
Hold on. So they had dragons that couldn't breathe fire? Okay, let me read. I mean, that's important to me. That's important to me personally. Dragons couldn't breathe fire. Dragons couldn't breathe fire? Question mark, question mark, question mark? Oh, from the end of the story. Lordran is the land of the gods, but it is a real place. But no one really lives there anymore since the fire is fading. Oh, interesting. Right. Do we ever find out how long the Age of Fire has been? That's a question I would like to know the answer to. Hold on. How long was the Age of Fire in Dark Souls? A 1,000 years is what the AI was telling me, but we'll see. Mm, okay. Maybe we'll get into that. It was very long. I don't know. When I come across a world like this, I'm like, okay, what's the economy like? Is there an economy? Is there a government? But it seems like the gods are very involved in the Dark Souls universe, so that's something to think about.
the universe, so did souls. Thus, the soul is the power of disparity itself. They are the means by which the first flame changed the universe, and paradoxically, they are both the fuel and the byproduct of that fire. Similar to in Demon Souls, a soul gives you clarity, allowing you to think, but also life, allowing you to be. And just as there are all kinds of life, there are all kinds of souls, of various shapes, sizes, and magical affinities. Many bosses are these special beings with special souls, and the most powerful beings are the lords, bearing Lord Souls. Who are the
Lord
lords,
Souls.
and what is a Lord Soul? The four lords are the first kings. They were all attracted to the first flame, having only ever known darkness before coming upon it. Each one discovered this massive concentration of Disparity's power near the flame, which they then used to establish a kingdom under their rule. Thus, these massive souls are called Lord Souls. Of these four souls, Karth tells us that the pygmy found the Dark Soul, and it follows that the other Lord Souls all aligned with the other aspects of Disparity. So in contrast, Gwyn found the Light Soul, Nito found the Death Soul.
Okay, so Gwen's got the Light Soul. Nito's got the Death Soul. Bird of Pygmies got the frickin' Dark Soul. So is there only one Dark Soul? Hi, Rainbow. He said the thing! He said Dark Soul! No problem, Pope. See you later. Okay, so he found the Death
And the
Soul.
Witch of Izalith found the Life Soul.
Life Soul, that's the other one. So did Seath the Scaleless not find the Scale Soul or the Bitch's Soul or whatever he was looking for? Life Soul. Okay.
These souls came to define them, and they would soon ally together to challenge the everlasting dragons. What is an everlasting dragon? So they're a part of the original race of dragons that predate life itself. Much like there are wyverns and worms, there are also ancient dragons, or archdragons as later games coin it. Their race is the progenitor to all other dragon subspecies, and these are subspecies that adapted really well to a new world and new environments. You still face some archdragons in-game, but these archdragons never are the original generation of archdragons that actually predate fire. The ancient dragons are commonly described as everlasting, thanks to their stone scales of undeath, granting them immortality. However, when Gwyn learned...
Okay, I got a lot just right there. Archdragons had these scales of undeath? Is that what he said? They just had, like, invincibility scales? That's crazy. Seath was too busy getting, quote-unquote, getting down? You're telling me Seath the Scaleless was down bad? That's crazy. Okay. So, the original Archdragons have the scales of undeath that grant them immortality. I'm very interested in hearing how they had that immortality ripped from their little undead scales.
that his bolts of lightning could peel apart those scales, the lords
Okay.
used their full might to hunt down the archdragons to nigh extinction, ushering...
Do we know why Gwyn's bolts did that? Oh, you're right. He's Seath the Scaleless, so obviously he didn't have undeath scales of immortality. That makes sense. Okay. But we don't really know why Gwyn was able to do that. He just was. Okay. Got it. Gwyn had super cool lightning that killed the archdragons. Got it. Gwyn is a god, so he's got special god lightning to fight the dragons, basically. Okay, but I have a question. So, maybe this is a cosmology issue that I'm having, where I'm understanding that the dragons were there before everything else, and then just fire showed the fuck up? Fire was just like, yo, what's up? I'm here now? And the dragons couldn't do anything about that? Because it seems like it seems like to me that the archdragons that were there originally were in and of themselves gods because they were the first beings, right? Am I not understanding that correctly? Like they were there first. Maybe this is just me wanting it to fit into an easy to understand cosmology. It's sort of like the dragons didn't want to do anything about it, then Gwyn started being a dick about it. Okay, so the dragons were like, it's chill that fire is here or whatever, we don't really care, and then Gwyn was like, get fucked! Okay, that makes sense to me. Gwyn and his family just decided to call themselves gods after he got the Lord Soul. So when anything refers to gods in this game, it just means Gwyn's family. Oh, interesting. Okay.
in the Age of Fire. What is the Age of Fire? It's the era you find yourself in. It was sparked when the lords defeated the archdragons, and even as far back as them finding their lord souls could be denoted as the dawn or beginning of the Age of Fire. So what follows is this period dominated by the lords. Much of this epoch is also denoted as the Age of Gods, since the three lords residing in Lordran with their fellow deities are on the rise or at their zenith during it. However, this golden age can only continue so long as fire at the source of the god's power remains strong. But eventually, fire will fade, and only darkness will remain. This, quote, is what Karth describes as the logic of the world. And when that happens, the gods are supposed to be replaced, and they're...
Listen, I don't mean to like poke holes into Dark Souls cosmology or like whatever. Can't we just add a few logs? Like, maybe it's not that simple, but can't we just add a few logs? Gwyn and his family just decided to call themselves God after he got the... Yeah. Nito and the Witch of Izalith are gods to are not gods, despite being Lord Soul holders, making them more powerful than most of the things being called gods. Okay, so gods is like a useless term in this universe. Only referring to, okay, so gods equals Gwyn's family. So lords is the indicator of having a lord soul. But it seems like, I will say that the five dudes at the beginning, Nito, the Witch of Izalith, Gwyn, Furtive Pygmy. Well, I don't know about Furtive Pygmy. I don't fucking know anything about that guy. But at least the first three, it seemed like they were pretty powerful before they got, like, before they got the Lord Soul, you know? You can throw logs on the fire, but you need certain kinds of logs, which is the point of the game. Oh. Considering we go around slaying all these things, yeah, being a god doesn't mean much. Interesting. Okay, okay.
The Age of Fire is supposed to become an Age of Dark. In the original Dark Souls, you find yourself at this crossroad. The first flame is about to go out. Even now, its power is barely reaching the world of man, and what follows is a proverbial night. And in this twilight era, the undead curse runs rampant. Okay, so what is the undead curse? Ever since the first flame began to wane, a dark ring of fire has manifested upon the bodies of certain humans, a sign of the dark burgeoning within them. This dark sign marks you as an ageless immortal, though your endless revival comes at the cost of your own souls and sanity until you eventually hollow. What caused the undead curse? This question is at the very heart of this series, and the answer is really quite complex. You'll have a better time with this though if you're familiar with all three games. So when the world first began, a creature called the Pygmy found the Dark Soul. Who they were isn't known, nor is it really important.
Oh.
What is important is that they split the Dark Soul into fragments, and these fragments came to be known as humanity, which is a small black spirit found within every human. Karth refers to the furtive Pygmy as your ancestor. Thus, we are descended from one of the four lords. These games frequently question whether the
We're royalty, dude! We're freaking royalty!
dark force within humans is a positive or a negative thing. Your adventure through Ulasil in the Artorias of the Abyss DLC is a great example of that. Here, the darkness within man has gone wild. It's endlessly consuming and corrupting the land and the souls of people around it. And yet, there is dialogue here that's supposed to give you pause.
I still think on that creature from the abyss that preyed upon me. My faculties were far from lucid, but I quite clearly sensed certain emotions. A wrenching nostalgia, a lost joy, an object of obsession, and a sincere hope to reclaim it. Could these thoughts belong to the beast from the abyss? But if that were true, then perhaps it is no beast after all.
So, is it like a man is the real monster?
This same duality is seen in the descriptions of dark magic, which are spells that are often driven by powerful emotions, positive things like love and calm, or negative things like hate and envy. But whether it's positive or negative, Gwyn's pantheon fears the dark, for one day, as we mentioned earlier, their Age of Fire is going to end, and only...
How do YouTube VODs work? They all get uploaded to... It's okay, Palix. Sorry, I couldn't hold both things in my head at the same time. I apologize about that. Maybe man is a monster, but maybe man is only a monster because of the chains placed on him by Gwyn. Wait, what chains have... What chains did Gwyn place on man? I guess maybe we'll find that out in a minute. But as far as how YouTube VODs work, they get uploaded to YouTube once I'm done streaming. That's how I make sure that my VODs stay up permanently. I I'm a little sad that today my mouth won't be working great, so don't love that that's gonna be in the VOD, but I can't seem to fix it right now, so I don't really know what's going on there. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, okay, so the undead curse, the dark sign, hollow. When you lose all your souls, you become a hollow. Gwyn feared the coming of the dark so much that he sealed them with the dark sign, the fire around the dark containing it. The video will get to that. Oh, okay.
Dark will remain. This was the logic of the world until Gwyn committed the first sin and he shackled the darkness within man. This was a revelation we received in the Ringed City DLC, where the seal of fire around darkness on the dark sign was finally explicitly stated to be a creation of the gods. So for some, like Manus in the first DLC, repression of their humanity causes it to writhe and go mad. However, this seal of fire was placed upon mankind so early in their existence that, for most people, their shackles are all that they know. As a result, and this is really important, humankind end up living their lives through souls that they hold completely separate from the humanity that's within them. You only have to look to the white souls of adventurers that you find in-game as proof of that. Living like this is the lie that Aldia talked about in Dark Souls 2.
All men
Okay, hold hold on. Okay, so I've got my notepad. I think I need a bigger notepad. I think I need like a legal size notepad. This notepad isn't big enough. Hi, Melon. So if I'm understanding this correctly, they have souls. So we've all got souls, but people hold them separate from their humanity. But their humanity is a fragment of the dark soul. So most people have more than one soul, is what I'm hearing, because they have a soul, but then they have humanity, which is a fragment of the dark soul. So those two are held separately within them because there's the big bad ring of fire that their humanity is sealed away in. I think I'm getting that. Okay. I'm like able to say the words that are correct in that instance, but I don't know if it's quite clicked for me. If that's making that makes sense. Like I'm able to say the right words. I don't know if it's quite sunk in. Let's hear this quote.
trust fully the illusion of life. But is this so wrong? A construction, a facade, and yet a world full of warmth and resplendence. Young Hollow, are you intent on shattering the yoke, spoiling this wonderful falsehood?
But in retrospect, the most chilling dialogue Aldia has was this.
Once, the Lord of Light banished dark and all that stemmed from humanity. And men assumed a fleeting form.
We're led to believe that the dark sign cursed humanity with undeath, but Aldia's dialogue means this can't be true. Instead, Aldia says mankind's lives became fleeting when they were branded with the dark sign. So this means that they were originally immortals, and indeed this is the state that you return to when you hollow. What is hollowing?
Okay. Okay, I think what might be slightly confusing to me here is that we are using the word human and humanity, but the humans, quote unquote, that we're talking about here, um, right? Their original state is immortality. But it seems like the immortality that they're talking about here is the ability to die and come back, perhaps, rather than just living forever. That if you die, you come back because, well, if you lose your soul, that's the undead curse. Maybe those are separate things. Maybe our original state of immortality is different from the undead curse that we inherited from the dark sign that Gwen gave us. But I could... I feel like I'm back in school trying to follow fucking Heidegger, dude. Trying to be like, well, so, like, if we're talking about Dasein, and, you know, he's a being that remembers the past and lives in the present and looks toward the future, and given that, what is man's duty to himself and to us? Fuck! What's our relationship to time? If we are to be Dasein. Certainly within the game, with the dark side on you, it's dying and coming back as the undead curse. The implication is we were probably immortal before getting the dark side. I guess my question here is, what does immortal mean? Unable to be killed? I guess that would be my question.
Humanity once stood proud within every human, but when the curse was put upon them, humanity became bound, lost, and repressed. So during this age of fire, humanity came to rely heavily on their white soul for their sense of self, and we can see this in the names of these souls. When fire fades, the seal of fire restraining the dark grows weaker. Thus, when fire fades, it follows that our dark soul starts to break free, consuming the white soul that we've come to believe is the self. And this process of losing the self is called hollowing. Dying.
So I was correct in that we have two souls. So we have a white soul, and then we have our dark soul, which is our humanity. But contrary to the name humanity, white soul is actually our identity. That's essentially our ego. And then I'm guessing that, like, our dark soul is like our id, perhaps. Probably just not dying of old age. So humans come from the pygmy who held the dark soul. The pygmy sired humanity and passed on the power of the dark soul, which Grin proceeded to seal by placing the dark sign on all of humanity. I am following that bit, I guess, but specifically power of the dark soul being immortality. Okay. Power of the dark soul. This is so cool. Okay.
Or losing.
Wait, I completely forgot about hollowing here. Hold on. Hodl. So when the dark soul consumes the white soul, you become hollow. Got it.
Heart, it accelerates this process. So, an undead must maintain physical and mental fortitude in order to resist this process. However, as you might remember, the Hollows of Londor in Dark Souls 3 believe that their hollow states are really the most honest shape of man. This isn't an easy truth to face, especially since the Dark Soul has become this ravenous, repressed thing. To stay sane as a hollow, one may need to drain the life of others, and the Hollows of Londor are universally reviled as a result of this. Ultimately...
Okay, hold on. He says, to retain your sanity as a hollow, you have to drain the... Why do you have to drain the soul? Okay, I'm gonna drain souls to stay sane. Why would you... I don't know, I've never seen Bleach. Why would you need to drain the souls to stay sane?
It just leaves you wondering whether this is really the best path for mankind, or whether it's better to just accept the shackles of the gods, or whether humanity's fate has been stolen by the curse, either way. How do we cure...
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom. We don't have normal breaks because there are no ads. So I will be right back. Hold on. Your dwarf mayor seems to hate shields. The implication is maybe that the dark soul in you is consuming the other souls and needs to feed to stay sane. Okay, okay. I wonder why that is, but maybe we just don't know. When you go hollow, as happens to many NPCs in the game, you basically lose all reason and attack those you used to know that aren't hollow yet. Hollows don't seem to attack each other. I wonder if it's like they see the humanity in each other, so to speak.
Cure the undead curse. Well, curse is an actual affliction, just like poison or toxin. You can experience its build-up in-game, and what this curse does is it locks the dark soul away from the self. It's really about the barrier, it's about the separation, and the Dark Sigil explains this. It says that as humanity leaks out, the curse accumulates in exchange. Unfortunately, humans are helpless against curses, and all we can do is redirect their influence. For example, when you use a purging stone, what you're doing is not actually curing the curse, you're actually just transferring the curse to this stone, and this stone was or is another person. In the original Dark Souls, we do something similar to this process called reverse hollowing. So this is a process that requires you to have a humanity. And it's easy to assume that we're just absorbing the humanity and restoring our humanity, but what's actually happening here is kind of the opposite. Yes, a humanity sprite is taken into the self, but it then acts as a sort of surrogate for the curse, like a purging stone does, and remember, we offer this humanity up to the bonfire. This keeps our white, regular soul safe, and it prevents us from going hollow. Further proof of this dynamic exists in Dark Souls 2, where using a human effigy is just like transferring your curse to a human surrogate. And in Dark Souls 3, we found the Purging Monument, which...
Okay. Dark Souls seems to have some messaging about the id, ego, and superego, but I can't put my finger on what exactly they are saying. I'm picking up on that because, like, it seems to me like the dark soul is the id and the white soul is the ego. I mean, I don't mean to bring up Young after we just did Persona, but the soul and humanity are separate. When you die, your dark sign wanes and they leak into each other and cause hollowing. Yeah, I saw that. The dark souls consume the white soul. I guess consume might be the wrong word there. It seems like your white soul might not go away, but it gets corrupted. Maybe that's a good word. Corrupts. Consumes. And then you turn hollow. And so here, with the curse thing, he seems to say that we're just pushing it off onto other souls. So, but you can't get rid of it.
is this enormous vessel that's overflowing with offered curses. Why did the gods curse humanity? So the logic of the world denotes that fire will fade and only dark will remain. Naturally, Gwyn feared this and managed to enforce a fleeting form upon humanity. The fate of mankind became irreversibly linked to fire, and thus the logic of the world was changed forever. What is the fire linking? It's a ritual for preserving the first flame. With the decline of fire and the rise of the dark and undeath, the gods were thrown into disarray, and the Lord's peaceful relations ultimately collapsed. Before things broke down, however, they concocted a plan to revive the first flame with a powerful soul, cultivated through firekeepers and undead bonfires. This soul would link itself to the fire, and the fire would inherit a new fuel. So Gwyn was the first to link the fire, and many others have taken up that role since then. What is a bonfire? It's your safe haven, undead bonfire.
Okay, so did Gwyn link himself? Yeah, it's a sort of corruption. Okay. In game, when you die, your souls are left where you were, and you respawn at a bonfire. I mean, it seems like the souls are like a tangible item in the world. You know, I mean, you use them as currency, so that makes sense to me. But Gwyn fire linked to the fire. Okay, yes, okay. Gwyn linked fire to the fire with a capital F-I-R-E. Um, is the fire I'm the next log? Oh, no. I don't like that. So the fire, I'm guessing, is a physical fire that is somewhere.
Fires are fueled by the bones of your own kind, and they're connected to the first flame as a part of a network
First
through
flame.
coiled swords. The heat that their flames produce heal our injuries and can be collected in a liquid form called estus. As for warping, light is tied to time in this series, so you can reason that a bonfire's light allows you to warp across time and space to other bonfires in the network. Bonfires and their firekeepers promote undead reliance upon fire, and they promote fire's reliance upon undead. Thus, the gods are almost certainly behind their creation. As for who went out and placed them in the world, it's hard to say, but it seems like they can be placed anywhere where there are undead bones, since we create one ourselves in Fireling Shrine, and even in early versions of the game, you were supposed to be able to place them yourself. However, it's important to remember that bonfires are primarily a checkpoint mechanic, and gameplay can't always be explained away by lore. For example, you might think that all undead respawn at the bonfire just like you do, but they don't. According to the Crestfallen Merchant, what actually happens is that undead will lay dead for a while and then later rise where they fell.
Oh.
What is a firekeeper? They're a woman who acts as the living incarnation of a bonfire in order to preserve its flame. So long as the firekeeper lives, so too does her corresponding bonfire, and vice versa. These women are thus vessels for the countless humanity that is offered to the bonfire, which means that they receive the dark spirits along with the effects of the curse in the transfer. The humanity wriggles beneath their skin, nipping at body and soul, and this causes great pain and horrific scarring, though not at extremities like the head or the hands. Firekeepers bear this suffering so that you can benefit from the bonfire, and it's through them, and by extension the bonfires, that you can strengthen your soul with whatever traits you desire. So be sure to...
That feels metaphoric. Women taking on suffering of others so that they may profit and benefit. That just that's feeling really symbolic to me personally. Okay. A woman who is an incarnation of the bonfire. Got it. Your dwarf mayor's going crazy,
always
Alex.
thank your oh shit. What is wrong with you? What is a god? Well, they're really whatever humans believe a deity to be. In most cases, the gods refers to members of Gwyn's pantheon, since they're the most widely worshipped in the world of man. But even those cast out, like Gwyn's firstborn, are still called a war god, simply because some people still worship them as such. However, just being worshipped doesn't mean that you have power. An example of this is Faris, who humans retroactively deified as the goddess of the hunt Evlana in Dark Souls 2. She was just a heroic bowwoman, but her story got twisted over the years until she became a god. People get kind of hung up on the god term because they're trying to define the race of beings that carry power in the series. For most of these characters, I quite like the term medial, which is a term proposed by Loki. What are medials? Well, many of the gods' followers and descendants aren't human, gods or giants, so we kind of have to make up a term for these beings. Medials is good. In terms of size, they're often between humans and giants, and these are beings like the daughters of Izalith or Priscilla, and so on. What are the dead? The dead are corpses that decay without the power of life sustaining.
Firekeepers are also human and ergo immortal, so the bonfires last as long as humanity does. The firekeepers are human? Oh, interesting. Because it's he said she was an incarnation of the bonfire, but I guess she's actually also a human. And something about being a representation of the collected humanity. Um, but now we've got medials. I didn't even know the giants existed.
sustaining them. However, some, like skeletons, are often a product of necromancy, and there's evidence that others, like the ghosts of New Londo, become warped by the strong, lingering emotions of the deceased. What is a demon? Anything that can be loosely classified as a monster is called a demon, really.
Oh.
In most cases, though, demons refers to chaos demons who were born of the flame of chaos. But there are also Titanite demons, and Dark Souls 2 introduces covetous and smelter demons, as well as a demon of song. It's a common argument
Demons.
that a demon in Dark Souls is a chimeric creature bearing the traits of multiple animals, but this isn't a given. What could be called crow demons are actually called crowmen or corvians. There are also snake men, maggot men, and lion men, all of whom are never called demons. Like with gods, the term is somewhat arbitrary. Basically, a demon is whatever humans would consider to be a monster. What is chaos? Chaos is the
Okay, hold on. So demons are just monsters, but maggot men are not considered monsters? So I played all the Dark Souls games plus Elden Ring. I don't remember any of this lore in the game. I just went in there and killed things. I don't remember this being explained. I mean, I can understand that, yeah. The first firekeeper you meet in-game is locked in a cage under the bonfire with her legs broken. That's fucked, dude. That's fucked.
nature of fire and life. Life is rooted in the soul. The soul is a product of fire's disparity. Therefore, life, like disparity, is chaotic. The Witch of Izalith found the Lord Soul that represents this, and she tried creating her own fire of life to match that of the first flame. Unfortunately, this sparked a flame of chaos, which creates and transforms new, often grotesque forms of life. These became known as the
Oh.
Chaos Demons, and they threatened Gwyn's rule.
Okay,
So-
hold on. So we've got the Chaos Fire that what's her face did. It tells you to literally figure it out yourself. Chaos Fire that was made by Izalith. And that spawned the Chaos Demons. Got it.
So you'll notice that they're stamped out at every turn in all chapters of this series. The Witch of Izalith's yearning for flame became the basis for pyromancy, and pyromancy is one of her strongest surviving legacies. What is pyromancy? Pyromancy is a physical form of magic. Pyromancers carry along with them a piece of flame that's passed down from teacher to student, stretching all the way back to the witch and her daughters, deriving the art from chaos and sharing that with the humans. Pyromancers then use that flame to conjure their spells, and despite the name, pyromancy isn't actually limited to casting fire, and it can actually conjure all kinds of elements like iron or poison. But these are rarer arts, since pyromancy is a religion that reveres flame.
Oh.
Just so, you can manifest pyromancies like miracles with your faith, or actually even learn to perform them like sorceries with your intelligence. What is sorcery? It's a mental form of magic. Sorcerers study the natural laws of the world to actually comprehend what they are and how they function. They then use this knowledge to manipulate their power and
I will say one of the things that I do know about Dark Souls is that people say that playing with magic is easy mode or something.
formulate the process as spells, which we call sorcery.
Because
They're basically
people
magic
don't think you
scientists
can
and
enjoy things
academics,
unless you
and
enjoy them
there are
exactly how they do.
sorceries from anything from souls to light to the dark of the abyss. What are miracles?
Yeah.
They're a spiritual form of magic. You cast miracles by reciting legendary stories, which either feature the spell in question or embody what the miracle manifests. Most miracles are thereby based on the power of the Anor Londo gods, but there are also dark miracles and hexes that achieve similar results. Your faith in the
Anor
story's truth
Londo.
makes it a
Wait,
reality.
wait. Wait, what's Anne Orlando? I thought we were in a place called Lordran. Who's Andor Landor? I did not find playing with magic to be easy mode. I did find it less enjoyable than Melee, though. Interesting. What the fuck is Andor Lando? Or where the fuck is it? Andor Lando. I do remember that. Anor Londo is the city of the gods inside Lordran. Oh, it's Londo, not Lando, sorry. Listen, somebody that I've watched play a Dark Souls game before calls it Andor Landor. It's Florida. Okay. Got it, got it.
What is the Abyss? It's the power of the dark, and whether that's a pitch-black void, like the realm of the Four Kings, a viscous dark swamp, like in the Ringed City, or a malformed pus, like the creatures of Lothric, the Abyss can manifest from any humanity, and it produces new life or twists old life into new forms. The Abyss is commonly unstable, and like with Manus in Ulasil, it can go wild, devouring and corrupting the souls of every other form of life. But it was not always this way. The gods placed a curse upon the Abyss, and while humans have largely lost connection with it, there are multiple sources that suggest the Abyss can offer great comfort to humankind. However, it appears that path was lost when the Abyss was banished, and now it simply hungers.
I think I may have actually missed quite a bit of that. Hold on.
What is the Abyss? It's the power of the dark, and whether that's a pitch-black void.
Okay, so Abyss is the power of the dark. Because the way he talks about it, it seems like it's almost a person or a thing.
Void, like the realm of the Four Kings, a viscous dark swamp, like in the Ringed City, or a malformed pus, like the creatures of Lothric, the Abyss can manifest from any humanity, and it produces new life or twists old life into new forms. The Abyss is commonly unstable, and like with Manus in Ulasil, it can go wild, devouring and corrupting the souls of every other form of life. But it was not always this way. The gods placed a curse upon the Abyss, and
I just feel like
while
the gods
humans have
really,
largely
really
lost
like
connection
cursing
with it,
stuff. It's pretty
there
crazy.
are multiple sources that suggest the Abyss can offer great comfort to humankind. However, it appears that path was lost when the Abyss was banished, and now it simply hungers. What is Black Flame? Black Flame is the impenetrable fire of humanity, inspired by the power of our quote-unquote untouchable soul, in kind of a similar way to how pyromancy is inspired by Izalith's soul. What is the deep?
What? I'm sorry, what is this quote-unquote untouchable soul?
As the Age of Dark continues to be delayed, some dark stagnates into the deep, and here the weight of humanity sinks into a horrific abyss, like a deep sea where no light reaches. Many worship the concept of the deep, as these dregs are seen as the bedrock of the world, and you can almost view the deep as a sort of abyssal religion. Its leader, Aldridge, concluded that if the world continued to darken, then there would eventually be an age of the deep sea. Why is time convoluted? With the first flame waning, the power of light also fades, and since light is related to time, the flow of time has stagnated in a land where the flame is located. Due to this instability, time spaces known as other worlds can randomly intersect here, and this allows you to briefly meet people from long before your timeline. And with the help of magic, you can cross the gaps between worlds, usually as spirits. Why is everything in the world hostile to me? After watching this video, you'll enjoy my video talking about all the bosses of Dark Souls 3, if you've played it. I'll just list a bunch of reasons on screen though, because every enemy does have a reason.
Okay, hold on. Time is weird because fire is fading. Got it. Here are the reasons. They are a wild animal or rampaging monster. You have invaded their territory and possibly killed their servants. They are a creation of someone else and mindlessly follow their will. You are an impediment to their own personal goals. They are for some reason scared and assume anyone a threat. You want something from them that they will never willingly give you. They are a trial set up for you to overcome as a part of the fire linking, or you accidentally put down your controller and bumped R2. That makes sense. Our humanity was shackled. Wait. The dark soul within you is untouchable because it's sealed, is how I interpret it. Our humanity was shackled by the dark soul. Our soul was by the dark sign. Our soul wasn't. We learned to use our soul as a weapon. Our white soul or our dark soul? I guess the fragment of the dark soul is our humanity, so it would be our white soul that we use as a weapon. It does seem touchable, though, because we can lose it, you know?
For attacking you, after all. Except Priscilla, I mean, why did you hurt her? That's actually really fucked up. What is the painted world? The first painting we're introduced to is the painted world of Ariamis, which is hung in Anor Londo. It was a place to hide all the things that the gods feared, and so it's filled with many references to sin and the occult. In the Ashes of Ariandel DLC, we learn that the paintings are a mirror of the outside world, and so are burned and reborn to mimic the linking of the fire. Just so, there are those on the inside who would prefer to let the painting rot. What is the meaning of each ending? So, in Dark Souls, you're presented with two choices after you defeat the Lord of Cinder. Either you inherit the fire and join the line of succession, preserving the current world order, or you leave the fire to die without fuel, allowing the universe to reach its natural conclusion. By becoming a Lord of Cinder, you sacrifice yourself to restore the light. By becoming a Dark Lord, you choose to lead mankind into a new dark age with an uncertain future. In Dark Souls 2, fire still wanes while the curse still flourishes. You assume a throne inside of a kiln, which takes you to the first flame and the Lord of Cinder, where you'll make one of these two choices. Turns out neither of them really matter, for the world will continue to ebb and flow between light and dark, so maybe you should heed a certain scholar's proposition instead. A new ending here is to neither rekindle nor squelch the first flame. Just simply embrace this twilight era and see what it has in store. As if to follow the consequences of this choice, Dark Souls 3 shows you a world where the future Lords of Cinder refuse to either save the Age of Fire or usher in an Age of Dark. And in the tumult that followed, you are again presented with a choice. Do you continue to link the fire, despite the ritual not being as impactful as before? Do you use the dark of the curse to subsume the flame and lead the undead into a new age as their Lord of Hollows? Do you let your firekeeper snuff out the fire and herald in the darkness, only to learn that embers survive amongst the countless lords who linked the flame before you? Or do you betray her and take what fire remains all for yourself?
Whoa!
You are unkindled ash, after all. What is unkindled ash? These are undead who previously tried and failed to link the fire. You weren't strong enough to bear the flame that you inherited, but you weren't weak enough to stay reduced to ash either, and so you became ash, devoid of flame, but still requiring embers as well as souls to heat your cold, cursed frame. Hence, unkindled are destined to seek the fire that remains in the world. How does the series end? Well, it ends with ash, literally. As the world burns out again and again, ash itself arises. This is a new being, a new species really, that's composed of 1,000 failures who had tried to link the fire over the years. But ash doesn't really belong in this world, and honestly, they have more in common with the beings of the painted world instead, where all of fire's discarded things reside. So, they fight for a new purpose, to reunite the Dark Soul and paint a new world with it, so that we can finally escape this ashen wasteland that Gwyn has created. So, a slave knight called Gale, hollowed beyond belief, sacrifices himself for a new world, and the painter paints a world called Ash, a cold, dark, and very gentle place. This video is too broad. I want specifics. Join the club. subscribe, check out other creators in this space, and enjoy endless hours of content that has been made in the years before you saw this video. Before I go, I wanted to give a shout out to one of my favorite Twitch streamers, 39daff.
Aw.
I watched her watch my videos after she completed Dark Souls 3, and, you know, it really helped me. I felt like I really understood some of the sorts of questions that people must have after they watch my videos.
Who's the chest? Who is the big, great chest ahead?
Great. I loved that video. My brain is waning. I have to go to the bathroom and grab a snack real quick, but I will be right back. Give me 2 shakes, and then we will discuss what we've learned. Sorry that took me so long. I came back with my drink or with my snack and realized that I didn't have any water, and I was like, I'm gonna die if I don't have water. Soon we will know too much. And our silly little minds will explode. I love Dark Souls lore because it gives you enough fuel but leaves enough gaps that I feel like my brain is on fire in a good way, trying to fill in all the gaps and make connections. And I come out with my own interpretations that don't always agree with conclusions other people present. Yeah. That's that seems like a very sweet spot for lore, in my opinion. Thank you, thank you. Well, technically I do have enough snacks for everyone. They're just downstairs, so, like, I'd have to leave again, and, like, that seems like a lot. I don't know. Honestly, I feel like I understood everything that I was being told. Once upon a time, there were a bunch of, archdragons, but Gwyn had some super cool lightning that killed the archdragons despite the fact they had the scales of undeath. So they all got killed, especially thanks to the 5 guys, 4 of whom had special souls. And then the furtive pygmy took the dark soul and broke it into different parts and then created humanity. And then during the Age of Fire, Gwyn, because he's kind of a dick and like scared of everything, um, sealed in humanity with the dark sign, causing us to inherit the undead curse. But we were originally immortal, so maybe not. That's the one I'm not too sure on. But if your dark soul like corrupts the white soul, you become hollow, and then you have to drain souls to stay sane. And then the whole reason we're going on this journey is because Gwyn was like, oh my god, there's gonna be like a chosen undead who's gonna come and like save everybody. But then that was kind of probably a lie, and instead he just wants you to firelink to keep the fire going, but you get given the choice to do that or not do that. And so you could be a big disappointment to Gwen and like not keep things going, and that would be totally fine from what I understand. So I think I covered like basically everything that was important from that story wise. So that seems good. I mean, there was definitely some other stuff in there, but it just didn't seem as important to me. That seemed like the basic gist of it, though. Interesting. That's a great summary. Thank you so much. I think I understand it now. You know, I guess there's probably more to go into because this guy's got a lot of videos. Ooh, Sekiro is not in the same world, is it? I guess it's not. I mean, it's made by the same people, but oh god, there is more to go into. If you don't link the fire at the end, someone else certainly will. Everyone has been fed the same propaganda about the Age of Fire being a good thing. That I mean, I can believe that. Gwen seems like he's like running a full-on disinformation campaign constantly about it. You know? Like he seems like he's going hard. The joint timeline of Soulsborne. Okay, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Elden Ring are all different worlds with no links to Dark Souls. Wait, I thought the Elden Ring was a continuation of Dark Souls. Interesting. Okay. Okay. There's one super French theory that links Bloodborne into Dark Souls, but I don't like it. The Beginner's Guide to Bloodborne.
If this is your first game by From Software, then you've got a lot of learning to do. And if you've been playing From Souls games for the last 6 years, then you've got a lot of learning to forget. We're all really beginners here, because while Bloodborne might feel familiar, you can't play it the same way you played the Souls games, so whether you're new to these games or not, I hope you find something here to help you. To start, let's talk about the UI. The red bar is your health bar, as it's always been, and it's always worth keeping an eye on. Whenever you take damage, there's a couple seconds afterwards where you
Maybe
can
I'm crazy,
regain your
but
health if
Bloodborne
you
looks
strike your
playable
enemy.
for me.
The amount you can potentially earn back is signified by the light orange after the white.
Like, maybe I'm crazy. Like, here we go. There's well, that's the lore of Night Rain. Mm. Patches? Bloodborne is in PS4 prison? Who put it there? Okay, let it out. Let it out. You lost a controller from Bloodborne? Bloodborne was my intro. I didn't beat it, but it never fell out of reach. Interesting. Sony put it there? I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Prepare to cry. Those thumbnails are so funny. Where's all the... The main thing with any of these games is that you have to learn that death is not failure, it's just learning, and you have to learn when to step away when it's getting too frustrating. Seems like it would be hard too. So some games reward players based on skill. Bloodborne rewards you based on dying and learning. Yeah, I mean, like, maybe I maybe I would hate it. Maybe I would hate it. Okay, so here's the Dark Souls lore explained. I guess what I need is Bloodborne lore explained. This one's in 11 minutes instead of 31. The entire story of Bloodborne, I guess. Oops, slightly rushed this video. Alright, alright. I think the 11-minute one sounds good to me.
Your character arrived in Yharnam from a faraway land.
We're switching to a new page. Where'd this go? Okay, we're in Yharnam. Yarnham. Got it.
Seeking a cure for some unnamed illness. You sign a contract, take blood, and become a hunter of the dream, tasked with ending the spreading scourge of beasts. Like many hunters before you,
Okay, so you're in
your
the
consciousness
dream?
is now bound to the hunter's dream, and you are able to project yourself into the waking world of Yharnam. At the end of the game, the nameless moon presence descends. This is a great one, an elder being that beckoned the hunters
Great one.
and conceived the hunter's dream. And you're here now asking why? Well, let me tell you the story up until this point. It all began in the tombs below Yharnam. Once, what we now call Chalice Dungeons contained an entire civilization. It consisted of the Temerians.
The thing is, I know like vague stuff about the long one might be better. The 31-minute one? Okay, we could try that
The
one.
oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. H.P. Lovecraft.
Our eyes are yet to open. Fear the old blood.
These were the words spoken between Master Willem and Lawrence, from the cautious teacher to the ambitious student. Fear what you do not understand. Fear the old blood. And so our story begins, as you might have guessed.
I'm gonna eat a
with
ginger
blood.
candy.
Ancient blood. Deep below the city of Yharnam lies the ancient underground labyrinth of Tumeru. You know it as the...
Hold on. Okay, so Chalice Dungeons are the ruins of Sumeru. Okay.
Chalice Dungeons. The old labyrinth was carved out by the Tumerians, superhuman beings that are said to have discovered a sinister truth. The hunters had another name for the labyrinth. They called it the Tomb of the Gods, for below they found traces of godlike beings named the Great Ones. The Great Ones could function on transcendental planes of thought, meaning they had elevated their consciousness beyond the physical realm. The benefits of operating on this plane are unclear. Perhaps it was in the name of immortality, or perhaps power, as even beyond, the Great Ones could interfere with beings and events in the waking world. Whatever the case, it is clear that some sort of ascension took place, as there are numerous references to some Great Ones being left behind. Of all the strange life forms that reside in the nooks and crannies of the old labyrinth, the slugs are clear signs of the left-behind Great Ones. One such Great One appears to be abandoned Ebritus, a left-behind being who apparently did not ascend with her brethren. One day, Ebritus would be discovered by the humans above, in a crusade that begins with a character named Willem. Master Willem presided over a prestigious place of learning, Bergenworth, situated by a tranquil lake and secluded within a
Okay, I have a question. In any of the Dark Souls games, are there just like normal ass people hanging around? Or is everybody like corrupted and like twisted and weird in some way or another?
gigantic forest, Bergenworth housed the mines that would change the world. In fact, everything sacred in Yharnam came to be traced back to Bergenworth, including the most influential characters within our story. Bloodborne's lore is very character-driven, and there are 5 who I'm going to help you become familiar with. There was Master Willem,
Mm-hmm. 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 Okay.
Runesmith Carol, Lawrence, Mikalash, and German. I'll introduce them to you in the order that they become relevant in the story. As I said, Master Willem was the head of the school at Bergenworth. The man was obsessed with the truth and believed in pushing the limits of humanity. In almost every dialogue and description, Willem is referred to as Master or Provost, clearly deserving of a great deal of respect. Many would eventually diverge from his tutorage, but few can say that they didn't owe everything to his research, for while Willem presided over Bergenworth, the scholars there discovered terrific things in the tombs below the city of Yharnam.
Once, a group of young Bergenworth scholars discovered a holy medium deep within the tomb. This led to the founding of the Healing Church and the establishment of blood healing.
It's hard to be sure exactly what
Okay, blood healing? Okay, this guy was a researcher and scholar. All right.
was found, but we do know it was related to the Great Ones. On the ground floor of Bergenworth College, we find the pearl slugs, remnants of the Great Ones, and at the very top of the college, we find the empty phantasm shell, an empty invertebrate shell that is said to be the familiar of a Great One. After this discovery, whatever it was that showed them that the Great Ones existed, the Bergenworth scholars launched an inquiry into the Great Ones and the Old Blood. For from this point onwards, there is an explosion of lore and history and references to what the scholars found in the tombs below Yharnam. Many of these references come from runesmith Carol, the second character of our story. Carol transcribed the inhuman utterings of the Great Ones into what we now call Carol runes. In true Lovecraftian fashion, it is really likely that it's impossible for humans to comprehend the speech of the Great Ones, but Carol apparently had a knack, a talent, for creating a visual representation of the Great One's words. The hunter who receives this workshop tool can etch Carol runes into their mind to attain their wondrous strength. Provost Willem would have been proud of Carol's runes, as they do not rely upon blood in any measure. This statement is curious. It tells us three things. First, Provost Willem and Carol were close, as Willem would have been proud of him. And second, Willem didn't have a...
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and this is not anything on Vati, though he obviously improved the quality of his videos, because this one was 10 years ago, and the other one was 5 years ago, and I cannot follow this for the life of me. Okay, like I'm understanding a few things, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't getting explained in here. Um, I'm just maybe it's my inability to focus at the moment. Maybe I need like some YouTube poop, but like yeah, none of this is really clicking for me. I don't know. Like I get some of the stuff he's saying, but there's the base concepts aren't being explained the way that I need them to be. Maybe I'm not taking good enough notes. I don't know. I could be so wrong. It's harder to piece together concrete things because it's a little bit more metaphorical. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it feel that's what it feels like. It's like, yes, I am understanding English here. Apparently my bit rate is too low. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Maybe I should find a different video. Who was it that you guys were recommending? Zuli the Witch? Oh. What does Zuli do then? To understand Bloodborne, you need to fully understand the hunt first. People that receive blood healing become monsters eventually, and the hunters, the player, have to hunt them down and kill them. Oh, more specifics. Oh. Oh, this is a weird-ass way to see the game. What the fuck? Like, I know it's a video game, but I don't really know if I like being reminded of that. Oh, okay. I wondered why you killed Father Gascoigne or whatever his name is. So he's blood drunk. Okay. Oh.
He's all over the shop.
Oh, he's foreign to Yarnum. Never talk to me or my son ever again. This makes him a particularly effective first boss, as he serves as a cautionary tale and an introduction to Bloodborne's themes. You can see in him what might become of you should you succumb to the intoxicating blood plaguing Yarnum. And doesn't he become part beast in his second phase? His transforming weapon, like the player's, affects his moveset and makes it clear how he'll be attacking at any given moment. The scenery cluttering his arena helps the player get distance if needed, but his gun and axe keep it from being perfectly safe. But as a first boss, this renders him a kind of skill check. Interesting. Partway through the fight, Gascoigne is overtaken by beasthood. The resemblance to the player is discarded. Up to this point, the player will have seen humans and beasts and will likely have drawn the obvious conclusions themselves. But they make sure to emphasize this with Gascoigne's transformation, demonstrating the threat of beasthood. Okay. This also kicks up the intensity of the fight, with the bestial Gascoigne hitting harder and faster than he did as a hunter. You've been relying on the scenery for cover, you're quickly relieved of that comfort as he now easily smashes through it. Ooh. Bloodborne is meant to be played up close and aggressively, and Gascoigne is attempting to teach you to embrace that fact. But even still, some consideration is given for the fact he's only the first boss, and so you can still take advantage of his arena. And you're rewarded for exploration prior to fighting him, as the music box given by his daughter will stun him. Oh. Just as important as his narrative significance is this delicate balancing and build-up of his difficulty as an actual fight. As a first mandatory boss, Gascoigne's role is to test to see if you've gotten accustomed to the playstyle of the game. He's a gatekeeper, the initial roadblock, a forewarning of what you're getting yourself into if you delve deeper into Yarnum. Oh, that's sick. Ooh, thank you, thank you. That was pretty cool to see, because I have seen that one. Like, I've seen that fight before.
I checked off.
Sorry, it opens in a different browser.
Bloodborne has one of the best stories I have ever seen. It's widely regarded amongst fans as a masterpiece and one of the best in the Souls series, and after finishing the game myself, I'm inclined to agree. Welcome back to another story review, the series where we look at some old games, and I not only give you a retelling of the game's story, but also give my opinions along the way. We've already done a few of these in the past, and I plan to do many more in the future, so if this interests you in any way, consider watching some of my previous episodes or subscribe for future ones. But as for today, we'll just be focusing on Bloodborne. So without further ado, let's get started. As always, I want to put a massive spoiler warning now, as we'll be going through the entire game and DLC throughout this video. Although I do understand though that many may not even know what Bloodborne is, so allow me to give you a very basic spoiler-free rundown of the game's plot, then you can decide from there. Bloodborne takes place in a fictional world of Yharnam, and we play as someone only known as the Hunter. Yharnam is known across the world for its blood ministration, as the blood they use is said to cure all illnesses. We're an outsider who came to Yharnam to seek this blood in hopes of possibly healing us, but that's not all this blood does. The blood in Yharnam has a secret the Healing Church does not want getting out. Furthermore, that's not the only secret Yharnam has within its walls. Sadly, this is all I can say for now without ruining most of the story. If this sounds remotely interesting to you, then go buy the game. Sadly though, it is only on PlayStation, so I can understand if you can't get your hands on it. Now that the introduction is out of the way, let's actually dive into the game's narrative. So right away, Bloodborne forgoes the usual lengthy cutscene that gives a summary of the world's events. Originally, I was going to write a strongly worded paragraph on how much this annoyed me, but after looking at it differently, I realized how much of this story would genuinely be ruined with an introduction like the previous games. The reason being is that Bloodborne is hiding its actual story for most of the game, and if any of the history or events of the world were mentioned, then it would not only make the player more confused, it would also ruin the surprise. So instead, the first second of the game starts with someone walking up to us talking about Yharnam and something called pale blood. It's assumed that our character had asked a question to the blood minister and that the cutscene starts right after we ask it. So it's possible that our character was trying to seek this pale blood, but given that they're trying to get a blood transfusion, it's possible that the player is also afflicted with some illness and sought out Yharnam because of their extraordinary blood. However, before we're given the blood, we need to sign a contract. Because the blood of Yharnam is so sought after by the rest of the world, it's obviously in high demand, so as payment, the church requires a contract to be signed. But this contract isn't so that we pay them for their services, but rather be of service to the people of Yharnam as thanks for being given their blood. In Yharnam, a strange phenomenon has occurred, as we can see that the town is overrun by beasts. By signing the contract, we become a hunter and are tasked with bringing an end to the hunt. So it can be surmised that this hunt we...
Okay, so Yharnam... Yharnam proper has the beasts in it, and I think we can surmise from the fight with Gascione that the blood is what's turning people into beasts. Okay. The Gascione music was very cool.
Partake in is our end goal, except that's not entirely true. It's clear we the player didn't come to Yharnam to stop the hunt, we came here for the blood. Our actual objective is much different, however there is a slight problem. Right after receiving the blood, we wake up and the first thing we see is a note that reads, "Seek the pale blood and transcend the hunt." This note highlights an issue with Bloodborne's writing, which are the translations. The first half of this note is incorrect. From Software, the creators of the game are known to be Japanese, so translation errors are quite frequent in their games. This can sometimes be a few incorrect words or the whole description missing. At least within the English version, some of the text is wrong. This note doesn't actually say handwritten scrawl, as in Japanese it actually says scribbled in your own handwriting, implying that our character wrote this note. But in the English version, that's not explained, which is why there are constant questions on many forums as to who wrote the note, despite there being a clear answer. This isn't the only translation error that Bloodborne has, but it's definitely the most notable. After the note is read, we head downstairs to fight the very first enemy, and we die. This, however, teleports us to the Hunter's dream. The reason we're here is that earlier, before getting up from the table, we hear the Blood Minister say that we will simply be seeing a bad dream before a beastly figure appears in front of us as engulfed in flames. Right after, these tiny little white men, which we learn are called messengers, surround our body. These little guys worship and aid the hunters in the Hunter's dream, and it's because they're connected to the player that allows us passage into that Hunter's dream. The place is named...
No. No. No, thank you. I didn't like that. I don't like the messengers. That was awful, and I hated it. Thank you. I gotta write that down. Messengers. Lil freaks. Okay. Also, I have to go to the bathroom again. I'm so sorry. I will be right back. when you were the first to fall asleep at a slumber party. You can put adorable little hats on the messengers? That's kind of fun. But I don't know, they were a little freaky. Also, Palix, I understand your enthusiasm for the lore that you're talking about, but also I do prefer if chats are at least a little bit on topic for what we're talking about. It's totally fine and it's not a problem. I'm not like mad or anything, but I don't want you to be talking into the void and not have me respond. Because I know that chatting is a way of connecting, and I'm sorry I can't split my attention between the lore that I'm trying to read and what you're saying. No, you don't need to apologize. I'm more just letting you know because I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you for no reason. I feel bad that I can't engage with it because I just don't have the ability to focus on two things at once. Um, so I just wanted to be upfront about that, about why I wasn't reading them out loud or replying to them, just to let you know. Um, so I guess I don't want anyone to think that I'm ignoring them. Unless I am legitimately ignoring them for some reason, but that happens very rarely. So, um, anyway, so I don't know, I don't know how interested in this I am. It seems like it's a really good story, but it doesn't feel as fast paced or as big overview as I don't know. It's not capturing my attention the way that I want it to. I don't know. I don't know. Give me a second to think. Out of all of them, I like Elden Ring the most. It felt more player friendly. Bloodborne is mainly about childbirth. That's a wild. I mean, like I kind of knew that, but that's still wild. I don't know why. Um, I don't know. For some reason, I'm feeling a little tired. Um, I've been streaming for 2 hours, not very long. I think I felt very nervous about today, about doing a YouTube only stream. And then a lot of things weren't working. Uh, in terms of technical stuff, and that kind of threw me off. Each FromSoft game has its niche. Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. I think also the delay makes me feel less connected to you guys. Plus, my VTube studio not working makes me feel weird. Maybe I shouldn't stray from my good Twitch stuff and just hope that one day eventually I'll get enough YouTube hours. Because I don't want you guys to split between Twitch and YouTube. I don't want you to go to YouTube while I'm streaming on Twitch if that's not what you normally watch on, because that'll fuck my analytics there too. That's a good point. We could do something less brain workout. Yeah, the long latency is weird. Somebody said I could probably change that in YouTube Studio. I go to the go live. Go to manage. Apparently I can delete the stream that you're currently watching forever, which is wild. Okay, so if we look at my stream health, excellent. Okay, stream latency. I have it on normal latency. Should that be on like low latency? Yeah, it is rough. I can always stop stream and then run back over to Twitch. Don't delete us! No! I don't know, this kind of been nice having a fake stream today. Get a load of this guy. What's up, Quoven? We're just talking about how weird uh the latency on YouTube is, or how long it takes. Although I feel like I did truly understand the first Dark Souls. I do get it. Is anything real? Probably not. I appreciate it, Drakey. I know you guys do. Y'all are so sweet. You're a bot? You're a very sweet bot. Okay. Thank you. What if... Okay, so my friend Tetra has been watching a bunch of Warhammer stuff. Are any of you guys into Warhammer? I guess, like, maybe switching to a different franchise. So I'm not sure what else to watch. I don't think I want to play a game. I think I just want to hang out. That's how Skynet happened, trick the humans. Yeah. You've been on a Warhammer kick recently? Oh, let's see. Warhammer. Warhammer or Warhammer 40K? I don't know. What's the difference? Uh, so, like, what's up with Warhammer? I changed the title. I don't know what that's gonna do to my overall title. The there's a Warhammer 40K. Here's a what is Warhammer, a total beginner's guide.
What
No, so low.
is Warhammer?
Why is that so serious?
Warhammer is a tabletop game using figures, where you purchase, make, personalize, and paint your army. The goal of the game is to defeat the models, the army of your friend. The rules are extensive, but easy to learn. Your army is yours from boots to...
Is this an AI voice, or is this someone's voice? Hi Riku, welcome on in.
blasters. No two are identical, and this is the core of the fun. Like most pastimes, it can fill many needs: expression, painting, collecting, camaraderie, events, excitement. But where Warhammer positively glows is in its deep and rich history. With hundreds of books, novellas, dramas, audiobooks, a movie, and entire animated series now on Warhammer Plus, it is a universe with a depth and flavor.
I can't handle this person speaking for some reason. Oh, this is okay. So which one is the space one? You could tell me there's a Warhammer 401k. That's an actual voice? Okay. I have heard that the cinematics are crazy good. Apparently, I have started watching the entire lore of Warhammer 40k with animations, every faction explained the whole timeline before. I don't remember that. I don't remember. What the fuck? When did I watch this? Apparently, I've been wanting to learn about this for a little while. How to play Warhammer 40k. I don't know, Tetra got so into it, it seems like it's interesting. I don't know. Seems really short. Well, this is from the Warhammer channel. There's grand finals. They're live right now? That's crazy. What is this?
In the grim darkness.
Don't ask what that voice was.
This is my only chance to atone.
What were those things?
Eldari. We shall risk everything for this.
How do we fight ghosts?
Then this war will last forever. Begin the ritual.
The next wave of greenskins will soon reach our world.
The Emperor will see us through this.
Holy whoa!
We will not abandon these souls. You have my word.
There's so many different styles in this one video. I'm guessing this is like a showcase?
Merciful Emperor.
There is only Warhammer.
You weren't born. Okay, of course you were born. This is Warhammer 40k. Your luck wasn't landing you as Jesus. You were born screaming, covered in blood, and probably already being judged by a servo skull with a clipboard. But that part where you got to be a person, that ended fast. Because someone looked at your orphaned, half-feral 13-year-old self and thought, yeah, let's give that kid acid spit and a rocket launcher. First, the tests, then the surgery, then the upgrades. They installed 19 organs. Not metaphorically, they literally opened you up and started adding them. One lets you eat poison, one lets you breathe in space, one lets you lick dirt and taste its feelings. Science. Then they stapled the black carapace into your spine, turning your body into a USB port for power armor. From that point on, you didn't wear armor, you were armor. If it itched, too bad. If it pinched, that's loyalty. They erased your name, called it purity. They erased your memories, called it devotion. Your personality, unnecessary variance. You got assigned to a legion, not chosen, assigned. To none other than the Ultramarines, the blue ones, the noble ones, the ones who print their battle plans on parchment and then light it on fire for extra purity. You didn't feel noble, you just felt heavy. You met your squad in a training cage. No names, just chain weapons and trauma. One of them hadn't blinked in 3 weeks, one quoted scripture in his sleep, one kept talking to his bolter like it was his dead twin. You learn fast, because
Okay, I can already tell you that I would read 100 books written about this lore specifically. This is great. Orcs are the only people having a good time in the 40k universe. Everyone else is miserable all the time. Great. Thanks for the head pat, whomsoever may have given it to me. I guess I could find out. Let's see. Go to creator dashboard. It was Necro. Yeah, that's why I said that. Boy, I have good news for you then. Yeah. It's been me. It's always been me.
Asking questions got you reevaluated, and reevaluation meant getting stabbed and replaced by the next kid in line. You were told this was brotherhood. It mostly felt like structured emotional damage. They taught you how to fight before you learned how to eat slowly. They taught you how to chant before you understood half the words. And when your bones broke, good, now you could learn how to fight while healing. Eventually, you earned your first deployment. Great Crusade, they called it. Thousands of worlds reunited with the Imperium. Thousands of cultures that didn't want to be. You were told
These
to bring
animations
unity.
are so good.
You brought a bolter and righteous indignation. Your first kill was a rebel who called the Emperor overrated. Your second was a child with a plasma gun and too much hope. You told yourself it was for the Imperium. It tasted like burning oil and moral flexibility. You saw your Primarch once. Rabute Gilliman, the Avenging Sun, built like a cathedral and glowing like someone who always files taxes early. He didn't see you. He saw the formation, but you stood straighter anyway. They said he was your gene father, but you didn't feel fathered. Still, you believed. In the Emperor, in the mission, in the idea that all this pain had a purpose. Because if you stopped believing, even for a second, you might remember what it felt like to be human. And that...
Okay. What? There's just a video on every single Space Marine organ explained. Okay, now, okay. I'm hooked. I'm interested. You get a refund? Why would you get a refund? It worked. The only books I've read are the Eisenhorn series by Dan Abnett, which are like pulp noir detective stories set in the 40K universe. That's a great pitch. That's a great pitch.
Warhammer 40,000 has the craziest, most complex and...
Okay, who the fuck calls it Warhammer 40,000? I thought we all called it 40K. Am I crazy? I thought it was called 40K, or is that just how people write it?
and deep lore I've ever seen in anything fiction. It is literally a meme in the community that trying to explain Warhammer quickly is impossible. But I actually think this is something of a rite of passage for Warhammer lore YouTube channels to attempt to explain
the 50-minute one that I had already watched briefly. Every faction explained the whole timeline.
They swallowed poison, and in their thousands, they died. The origins of the man who would one day be known as the Emperor are shrouded in mystery. Some say that thousands of shamans feared that our race and planet would fall prey to the psychic entities that dwell in the warp. Therefore, in their thousands they swallowed poison, and in their thousands they died, so that they would be reincarnated into a single body. Others say that he is just the most powerful of a group known as the Perpetuals. They are the next stage of human evolution, a Homo superior, gifted with supernatural powers and immortality, able to
laugh at Homo
regenerate from
superior.
almost any wound. We do know that he was already ancient before mankind even took to the stars. Certainly, other Perpetuals did exist, and one by one he found them. Some opposed him, some simply wanted nothing to do with him, but some joined him, and so he set to his task, shepherding mankind towards a brighter future. If you
Why'd
look
they make him so
closely at
hot?
the pages of history, you can still see his influence. Occasionally, he was a ruler or a warlord or a warrior, but mostly humanity needed gentler guidance from the shadows. but he was always there, always working.
Also, can I just say what a weird way to start a video? Like, this does not feel like this is actually explaining anything, if that makes sense. Like, go on. It just, you know, do you get what I'm saying about like the fact that I feel like it's not actually like it's telling me things, but it's not really explaining anything.
Towards his goal, the salvation of our race. And humanity thrived. We stepped into the stars with increasing confidence and skill. We bounded forward, colonizing Mars, the solar system, and then we spread outwards into the rest of the galaxy. We struck accords with alien races where possible, but defended ourselves where necessary. This interstellar empire was only attainable by the development of warp travel, a dimension of pure energy. The warp lurks beneath the skin of our reality. It is known as the Empyreum, the Immaterium, the Sea of Souls, and by many other names. It is both humanity's deliverance and damnation. There, all of the thoughts, emotions, ambitions, and fears of sentient life forms find physical manifestation. They gather like rivulets of water, and so our dreams and nightmares formed creatures that eventually gained a rudimentary consciousness. Numbered amongst the most powerful of these beings are those referred to as the Chaos Gods. They weren't all created at once, and yet they have always existed, for the warp is unbound by the laws of time and space. There is Khorne, the god of warfare and rage. Nurgle, the god of disease and despair. Tzeentch, the god of change and sorcery. And Slanesh, the god of pleasure and excess. They war with each other in a great game of supremacy.
I've heard of Nurgle
Rarely
before.
do they put their differences aside and work together. Whether they are actually gods is up to you to decide, but they wield unimaginable power and can exert some of it to create what is typically referred to as a demon. Despite the evils that lie within the Immaterium, it presented a great opportunity: faster than light travel. We developed engines that can pierce the veil separating reality, and Gellerfields to protect us from the hostilities within the warp. Navigators are also essential. Humans with the Navigator gene are genetic mutants with a third warp eye, which gives them the unique ability to steer through warp space.
I have a question. Isn't there somebody in Dune like that? Nurgle was also a Babylonian god. They stole the name for this. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, in there the girly pop in Dune that does the same thing on the ship for the guys. I don't know a single fucking thing about Dune. But for some reason I know that there's a navigator on a ship somewhere that does something like this. But maybe I'm wrong about that. I could be misremembering the weird little bitty bit of Dune that I know. And maybe I don't even know it at all. There are navigators in Dune, yeah. So who ripped off whom? Clearly an inspiration for this. Oh, okay.
Humanity was able to essentially enter this dimension in one place and exit in another. This time of expansion was the zenith of mankind's scientific knowledge. Human scientists, engineers, and inventors were our new gods. They created wonders and worked even with alien technologies.
There is a worm in Dune.
The standard template construct machines, or STCs, allowed human colonists to rapidly fashion everything that they needed to dominate new worlds from whatever natural resources were available. Our tools to create and weapons to destroy were at a new height. Just as with the navigators, the human species was even genetically enhanced in some instances. Vast armies of gene-tailored troops now fought our wars. We of course dabbled in matters we should have left alone. The Men of Iron were created, sentient humanoid machines that served mankind's every need, be it administration or war. When
We
they turned on
always
their
make
creators, their
fucking
armies of mechanical
soldiers
soldiers rampaged and slaughtered
out of metal.
billions. The Cybernetic Revolt, as it became known, was eventually won by an alliance of galactic powers, some of whom may not have even been human. We only have scraps of information on this conflict. However, artificial intelligence, or abominable intelligence as it is known, remains outlawed to this day. It is thought that this conflict weakened humanity and was a great step on the road to our downfall. We also have information suggesting that human psykers started to appear in larger numbers during this time. Psykers may appear to you as witches or wizards from ancient myth, or the very shamans mentioned in this tale. A psyker can touch upon the warp with their mind, channeling its energies to reshape reality. Some can conjure fire, glean instances of the future, or any number of abilities. Though not all are malevolent, rogue psykers have been known to claim godhood over entire worlds. Additionally, whereas all souls burn like candles amidst the tides of the warp, a psyker's burns like a lantern. Demonic entities are drawn to them. They circle like predators looking for a weakness, and can even possess unprotected psykers. Unchecked, these beings presented a massive danger to entire systems. We were reeling from the Cybernetic Revolt, dealing with anarchy caused by rising psyker numbers, and perilous warp storms rose to block off travel and trade. Hunger and starvation followed. Terrible wars broke out as warlords tried to carve out their piece of the galaxy. Some worlds were entirely isolated and over the millennia devolved into primitive societies. This period is often referred to as the Dark Age of Technology, but not necessarily because of its brutality or wickedness, but because so little in terms of its technology or records has survived. Much
Do they have any, like, I guess, years on this? Like, how long it was in between these ages?
of our economic strength and political unity was gone. The aptly named Age of Strife was
Oh,
upon us.
M25 to M30.
Post-apocalyptic barbarism rose even on the
really know
Earth
what that
itself, which had previously been a jewel, a shining hub of the powerful human civilization. Humanity's homeworld, now known as Terra, was in the grip of war as techno-barbarians battled with gene-enhanced soldiers.
Yeah, it does
Our
seem
full
very
destructive
human-centric.
capabilities were unleashed. Billions died, and even the last of the oceans boiled away.
Okay.
And then, in humanity's darkest hour, a shining figure emerged. After millennia of lying in the shadows, he had seen the vulnerability of humanity and the threats that are trying or will one day come.
Is this the
to
hot guy from
extinguish our
earlier?
light. We needed to be unified into one imperium of man. An iron fist was needed to put humanity back on the necessary path. He stepped into the light and took the name, the Emperor of Mankind. Over the millennia,
Okay, listen. This is no. I mean, okay, this guy, he is specifically called the Sandman of Terra. And I don't mean to besmirch his good name or anything, but I feel like he's got a bit of a hard-on for the Emperor, dude. Like, we started with the Emperor, we're back to the Emperor. It seems like we're really into the Emperor.
Affection had grown amongst the Perpetual's allies.
The way
to
he was like,
Emperor.
"The Emperor!"
The most accomplished struggled to keep pace with his mind, but they noticed he was cutting corners, ruthless in his demand for results. But what could they do? Even together, en masse, the Perpetuals were no match for his power. So over the
He's kind of a
millennia,
big deal?
most of them
Okay.
left or even betrayed the Emperor. Amongst his plans was to build an imperium of man based on truth. His truth. The imperial truth. This
so he's a
removed
fascist.
the religion, faith, and superstition that had defined much of human history. The Emperor had learned all too well that these were easy doors from which the powers of chaos can enter a mind. First, the Emperor needed the cradle of humanity, a seat from which his imperium would be ruled. He created the Legio Custodes, his personal golden bodyguard, each one a unique work of genetic science never to be replicated. But he needed other elite soldiers that could be mass-produced to spearhead his armies.
You do have to be careful about people that are too into the Emperor, because the Imperium of Man is a satire of fascism, so you get actual fascists really like him and don't get that it's satire. Humanity did get a little fascist in the 40k universe. I don't know if we could say a little. It seems like it's a lot happening right now. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll make my judgments.
20 legions of gene-enhanced super soldiers, the Thunder Warriors, were created. The armies of the Warlords of Terror were no match. The Emperor's mastery of science and warriorship was peerless. Yet still, the Thunder Warriors were flawed. Mentally unstable, they suffered catastrophic biological and metabolic failure unpredictably after a span of standard years. Another solution was needed. By this point, the Emperor had few of his ancient friends left. Yet Malkador the Sigillite and the Perpetual Urda remained. They were both incredibly powerful psychics.
If you ignore all
Urda
that, they're all
was
right,
also
guys.
a genius geneticist. So once most of the natural perpetuals had left his side, he decided to build some more. Working with their biotechnical division, the Primarch project began. Though not technically perpetuals, the Primarchs were designed to live long enough to see his plan through to the end. They were to be born from his blood, his power, his vigor. They would be the generals to lead his vast
Okay, but the way he said his vigor.
armies, and through them, their genetic lines, the Space Marine legions would be made. 20 Primarchs, 20 Sons of the Emperor, 20 legions. The basis of the Primarchs was not wholly genetic science, for the Emperor had not been idle over the ages. During the Age of Technology, along with other Perpetuals, he travelled to the planet Molech. There, they found it, a gateway to the realm of chaos. The Emperor entered and made a bargain with the Chaos Gods. Servants of these powers, who know of such things, will tell you that he stole some of their fire. For when he emerged back through the gateway, his power had grown even more, and he'd gained the knowledge of how to create the...
I will say, like, this video feels very like it was written by someone who highly admires the Emperor, because he was like, some will say that he stole their fire. I'm not accusing this guy of liking the Emperor. I'm sorry. Normal Emperor video? Oh no. The narrator's thrust watching. No, not his thirst videos of the Emperor. No, no, no. Listen, I did say they made him hot. I was before I knew he was a fascist.
Primarchs. He was henceforth known to them as the Anathema. Furthermore, this was not the only secret that the Emperor kept. For few know, as the Emperor is the father of the Primarchs, the Perpetual Urda is also a biological source. She is their mother. She had stood by the Emperor all this time. She believed in their mission, even the roles of her sons, incredible warriors and generals though they would become. It was necessary to combat the forces that worked against humanity. But it wasn't until after they were born that she learned the true extent of his ambition. the ruthlessness of it. He sought to supplant the natural flow of life with an artificial version of the perpetuals that trampled ethics, morality, and wise prudence. He would use their sons to bend humanity to his will. Those that would not bend would break. There are many and conflicting accounts of what happened next. Some say it was the sheer power of the Chaos Gods, furious at the Emperor's betrayal. Some say a causal loop was created by powers working against the Emperor in the future. But according to Urda, it was her. Understand, she loved.
He's also not presenting the theory that I heard where the Emperor is actually just the fifth Chaos God, born of humanity's desire for a god. I like that. I don't know a lot about this yet, but I like that. That's a fun theory.
Her sons dearly and sought to spare them from his terrible ambition. She conjured a great warp vortex in the laboratory. The incubation pods were pulled into the immaterium and scattered onto planets across the galaxy.
Dun, dun,
But
dun.
not all was lost, for he still had their genetic material. The gene seed implants were made, used to grow 19 artificial organs that turn a normal human male into a superhuman space marine.
But Jesus,
Their
they're
strength,
giant.
Speed, resilience, and skills are
Hold
so.
on. I have to go to the bathroom first. But after that, I'll read this real quick. Hold on. All right. Oh, okay. So, see, Warhammer 40K has a bunch of side theories, and they're all pretty good. Seems like a lot of people love speculating. They shall be my finest warriors. These men who give of themselves to me, like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns will they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines so that no foe can best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. That's kind of fucked. My favorite faction are the Necrons, ancient space robot skeletons that sleep forever inside their tomb worlds until something awakens them again. I hope we get to hear about them in this video. He says he explains all of them, but I really don't think he does. I think this man's lying. I think I've heard just about enough about the Emperor. I don't really care that much. Every single Warhammer 40K faction re-explained part 1. Oh, he did that 5 years ago, but then he did it 7 months ago.
In the kind brightness of the far past, there was
Just what all Warhammer 40K people look like? Because I could get into it. I could get into this.
no war. Our galaxy was, for a long time, fairly empty and quiet. The first known species to appear during this time are known only as the Old Ones, cosmic entities that traveled across the
I'll take notes
galaxy
on this
with
one.
ease and seeded life through the stars. Shortly thereafter, a new species began to arise. the Necron Tier. Evolving under the harshness of a devastatingly powerful star, the short-lived and irradiated Necron Tier try to find the secret to eternal life and to be freed from their terrible existence. As they expand through the stars, they find the Old Ones and they plead to them to share the secrets of the universe and grant them purchase from their short and painful.
Okay. Serious question. Serious question. Why do all gods have abs? All right? I think less gods need to have abs.
Full existence. The Old Ones respond with a lol and a lamau, and with their immense power, they force them back to their homeworld. The Necron Tier, filled with rage and hatred, make it their duty to get revenge on the Old Ones. A revenge that would come swiftly as a chance encounter with other gods gave them a solution. These other gods were known as the Catan, a race of highly powerful star-consuming entities. Do not fear, young...
Okay. I'm gonna be so for real with you. If you gave me the choice between some dicks who threw me back to my planet and some highly powerful star-consuming entities, I just feel like the highly powerful star-consuming entities would fuck me over. Need more like Hades to Hephaestus, who's stocky and has a belly but is still super hot? Yes. Yes. Although, like, do I think it's pretty cool when gods have abs? Yes. Okay? I'm not blind. I'm just saying we need a little bit more diversity in body types. Okay? Not saying it's bad.
Mortals, for we, the Catan, will provide you with the immortality you seek. Come now, won't you shake a poor sinner's hand?
I don't.
Quoted
That's
from
nope.
Mephetron, the Deceiver. The
The Deceiver.
accepted the
I told
Catan's
you.
offer of immortality.
Did I not fucking call it? Did I not? I was like, listen. I can tell when somebody's about to fuck me over.
But believe it or not, this turned out to be a ruse. A trick. The Catan crafted gigantic furnaces and began the process of biotransference. The Necron Tier willingly walked line by line into the furnace engines made by gods who devour stars and had their souls consumed instead. The short-lived, irradiated, and cancer-inflicted race of the Necron Tier ceased to be, and the immortal, soulless Necrons remained. Now backed by the immense power of the Catan, the Necrons rally against the Old Ones, and the bitter conflict in the stars at this time is known as the War in Heaven. Despite creating various races and entities to aid them in this battle, the Old Ones are overwhelmed and eradicated down to the last, due to the sheer power of the Catan fat off the souls of the Necron Tier, and with an army of unthinkable robotic slaves at their behest. However, the Catan are greedy, spiteful gods, and when there was no foe worth killing, they turn on each other. The Necrons
that sounds
then
about
put their
right.
sights towards the Catan and lay waste to them, securing their
You know what I've learned when it comes to not trusting a guy just because they have the epithet deceiver? Talk about prejudice. Jeez, though. Just because his last name is Dagger doesn't mean we can't trust Judas, all right? He's got a lot of Roman friends, but it doesn't matter, dude. Might love silver, but he's a trustworthy guy. I was just gonna say, I feel like one of the things that I've like grasped lately is that nobody in lore and probably in the world is just content to chill out. You know? Like a lot of people will have a good thing going and then they just gotta start some shit. And that's what this feels like. It's like you had a good thing going. You were the only people left. You had no worthy adversaries. Why don't you just chill out? But no, nobody can be bothered to just chill out.
Freedom. The once subservient Necrons now control their former masters. Worn out and weakened by these wars, the Necrons under their leader Zarek, the Silent King, lie dormant with a plan to eventually wake and reclaim control over the galaxy. Over millions of years, empires rise and they fall. The species created by the Old Ones have footholds over the galaxy, but on a pale blue dot, in the thick of all this conflict, humanity begins to evolve. And for the most part, the basic path of humanity's evolution remains the same as it is now for almost 15,000 years. Right now, in the 21st century, this is canon. You, right now, Twitch streamer reacting to this video, you existed at a point in the Warhammer universe.
I need him to shut the fuck up. Okay? Listen, how did he know? I don't think I like being called out like that. I'm not a big fan of that, dude. I love that the Necrons kill and chain their own gods and then take the longest nap. They deserve that nap. So true. He knows. He knows. I don't know how he knows, but he knows.
Universe. But with time, humanity's ambition and the power of their technology becomes unmatched, and the golden age of expansion begins. Humanity starts to branch out through the stars with powerful tools used for agriculture, mining, and expansion. Some branches of humanity would eventually settle far away from Earth itself, and around this time, the psychic ability
You're right. We got him. I'm a YouTube streamer today.
Of humans are greatly expanded, and what we
Oh, also, I just wanted to check that the stream's working for everybody because, like, it said that the stream basically died for a second. I don't really know what's going on there, but that's fine.
we begin to know as psychers appear. But despite all the progress, things would begin to collapse. The machines created to aid humanity would turn on them in M23, an event known as the Cybernetic Revolt, and trade would begin to collapse due to the immaterial warp, aka actual hell, beginning.
Hold on. Is that a hold on, Warhammer 40K is working? Okay. Weird. Cinematic for the cybernetic war. He was showing something. Well, that's the full movie cinematic? I don't want to see the full movie cinematic. He was just showing something that seemed like thought there might be a cinematic specifically for the cybernetic war. Oh, a Matrix 3 movie clip. I love that. It just buffered a little. Strange.
To cause ruptures in space and time. These warp stones would separate humanity, and this would be what is known as the Age of Strife. The warp, a sea of souls, storing all thought, emotion, and the souls of those who have passed on, begin fluctuating into something terrible, as far on the horizon, something horrendous was brewing. You see, the warp isn't just a random assortment of chaotic energy. It is fairly well organized thanks to those
I've seen Matrix 2 or 3
in the galaxy. The warp itself acts as an afterlife of sorts, and the actions of the innumerable amount of creatures who live in the galaxy have manifested a pantheon of organized entities known as the Forces of Chaos. At their helm are three major entities, Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch. However, a fourth one, Slaanesh, was about to be born. The ancient Eldar were one of the first species created by the Old Ones, and due to their extreme and unbridled excess, the birthing of Slaanesh tore a hole in the galaxy and forever split the Eldar into those of the craft world, who sought to bring their species back together, and those of the Drukhari, who wished to continue what caused the birth of Slaanesh in the first place. The birthing of this fourth Chaos God settled the warp storms of the Immaterium and ended the Age of Strife, but humanity was still fractured. So one man revealed himself and spearheaded an immense
It just seems like
attempt to
humanity's had
reunite
like a really
all the
bad run of
fractured
it, if
pieces
I'm
of
like being so
humanity.
for real with you.
That man was the Emperor of Mankind. After reclaiming the nearly destroyed Earth, the Emperor embarked on the unification wars to unite humanity under the banner of the Imperium of Man. However, due to the very long and devastating impact of the Age of Strife, humanity as we know it is not the same. To reconquer Earth, the Emperor would need more than mere men. Great beings, known as the Thunder Warriors, were recruited by the Emperor to reclaim the Earth with ease. But these warriors are a blunt tool and had,
We do it to
overstayed
ourselves, for
their
sure.
welcome. He would need something better, and that solution would be known as the Space Marines. Superhuman soldiers that will have the skill and cunning exponentially greater than the mortal man. These new warriors would be commanded by an elite group of his very own sons known as the Primarchs. Unfortunately though, Daddy didn't charge the baby monitor, and his 18 sons would be stolen by the forces of chaos and scattered across the galaxy. This would begin the Great Crusade, a monumental task to take back the stars in the name of humanity and reclaim the lost Primarch sons. However, he would need the fires of industry to make this happen. Looking to the distant cousins of Mars, the Emperor signed a treaty with the technologically irradiated hellscape of the Red Planet and allowed the cult of the machine god, the Mechanicum, to supply his crusade. While Space Marines were the tip of the spear, their numbers paled to the vast might of the Imperial Army and Navy. The Astra Militarum and their seemingly endless numbers make up the bulk of the fighting force for humanity, supplied by the intelligence and prowess of various agents of the Imperium, such as rogue traders and assassins. Due to the lack of connectivity between the worlds, what a society had become over thousands of years became mysterious and varied. Tools once used for harvesting and agriculture now are being used as machines of war in the form of Imperial Knights. Some of these fractures of humanity would even be changed further and become unrecognizable to the average human, with differences in size, skin color, appendages, cat ears sometimes. Some would go so far to become their own galactic societies, like the miners of the Galactic Core and their immense supercomputers.
Wait, why is he
forming
so
the
wide?
leagues of
I feel like I'm having a stroke. Why is he so wide? Why is the man so wide? There's theory that the machine god is in fact the Void Dragon, a surviving Khitan. The Khitan are the dudes who made the Necrons. Got it. No matter how mankind changes, the pursuit of cat girls remains so true. You can't just ask a man why is he so wide? I can't! Ricky, why are you so wide? I'm gonna subscribe to him. Thank you for the head pat. Who did that? Necro. I see. I see.
Votan. After an incredible amount of effort and books, the lost sons of the Emperor would be reunited, and the Imperium of Man would be firmly established. This, however, would not last. Be it intentional or accidental, the Emperor would not reveal to his sons the true nature of the galaxy and the terrors of the warp. And this oversight would result in one of the most impactful wars in humanity's history. The favorite son of the Emperor, Horus, would fall to the powers of chaos and turn on his father. This betrayal, this backstabbing, this heresy, this Horus heresy would result.
He said the thing! I don't even know if he said the thing, but I'm assuming he said the thing! Also, I do love a good son betraying his father story. Very, very Shakespearean.
In a split in the Imperium with devastating consequences. Half of the Emperor's loyal sons would fall to chaos and become the Chaos Space Marines, along with the forces of the Dark Mechanicum and the Chaos Knights. The conflict would result in the absolute obliteration of Horus and the physical death of the Emperor himself. The near-dead body of the Emperor would be placed on the Golden Throne to serve as a beacon of humanity and allow for the continued ability to.
That's a beacon of humanity right there, for sure. Look at that. I understand why you're saying that it's like a farce of fascism. It's like satire. You know?
To travel the stars, protected by his most loyal, the Adeptus Custodes. The Imperium would be vulnerable during this age of rebirth, and Terra would find itself under siege by one of the most formidable species in the galaxy, the Orcs. As time went on and memories of the Emperor's vision began to fade, the Emperor would become less of a head of state and more of a religious figure. And the Imperium would change to reflect this. The leadership on a planet would be at the behest of the High Lords of Terra, and their actions would be courtesy of the incomparable power and authority of the Inquisition.
Okay, I hate to be this person, but it's incomparable. I did enjoy The Boys. I watched some of it for sure. And hi Gabo, I hope you're doing well. Wow, you both hit me with The Boys. I watched it. I will say, I was a big fan of Garth Ennis's The Preacher series. And I think I might enjoy reading The Boys more than I enjoyed watching it. It was just a little too uncanny valley for me in terms of TV. So.
Zealots of the Imperium would intensify and create a brand new era known as the Age of Apostasy. And this ecclesiarchal command of the Imperium would end up with one of the strongest fighting forces of Terra, the Adeptus Sororitas. Over time, this age would come to pass, and we would approach the 40th millennium of Warhammer 40,000.
Great. Should I watch it now? Funny and short, not informational. Well, not informational. Let's see. I want to copy link.
Story chart. Have you seen the fucking glorious Horus Heresy timeline chart?
What? No.
Right. You want to read the Horus?
That's the most complicated chart I've ever seen. Ever. What the fuck? Wow. I don't think I need to watch any more of that video. That gave me everything I needed to know. I'm glad it's super accurate.
Which, you guessed it, would come with its own form of problems. A primitive species once found during a recon mission would be able to evolve in relative secrecy for 6,000.
Also, I think I may want to finish this like another day. Like, I feel like I'm getting into something really deep. And I want to finish it another day. That's just the ones on the Horus Heresy? Wow. Like, would you guys be cool if we just picked this up, like, tomorrow? I don't know, maybe I shouldn't stream tomorrow, but his response to the chart is fuck.
Heresy, Tom. So, this is how their books fit together. Because they're not chronological. So if you want to read certain plot lines in certain like chronological orders, it's all very easily contained in this fucking graph, right? So you start at the beginning with Horus Rising. And the first 4 books, they are chronological, so that's easy. But things get interesting when you get to book 5.
Jesus.
Yeah, I feel like I got everything I needed to from the Dark Souls video that I wanted to. I just wanted to understand the basics of the world of Dark Souls proper. And then now I'm like, yeah, I think I'd like Warhammer, but I don't know. I mean, maybe by the time we do this next time, I'll want to watch something else. I don't know. I might stream tomorrow. I might not. I don't know yet. I streamed so little today, but I'm feeling quite tired. Yeah, that was a good fuck. It was a good one. I think all the lore tired me out. Anyway, we'll be back on Twitch tomorrow. My little experiment of doing YouTube only, I think, is probably done. I don't raid you guys out, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. That's weird. Weird to just be like, all right, that's the end, kids. Yeah. Ooh. Maybe I should play Dispatch. I mean, a lot of you guys have talked about it. Oh, I didn't know it looked like that. Ooh. Let's raid Gremlin Mae. I don't know. She's kind of mid. Yeah, she's kind of mid. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. It was very fun to learn about Dark Souls. I really I think like I had some expectations of what the lore was going to be like, but I wasn't sure, and it was very cool to learn about in general. But yeah. Oh my gosh, who's in my Twitch? Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it. Well, we don't even raid. So I'll see you goobers maybe tomorrow. I'll put out a schedule tomorrow for sure. But yeah, I feel like I took a lot of days off last week, which I appreciate your patience on. So we might add a stream or 2 on next week as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.